There's actually a lot of really good Goosebumps stories that I could have wrote about or talked about, like Stay Out of the Basement, Go Eat Worms, How I Got My Shrunken Head, Egg Monsters from Mars, Shocker on Shock Street, but I decided to pick the scariest story ever written, The Haunted Mask. The story deals with some really complex topics like the ramifications of bullying, loss of identity, petty theft, demonic possession, murder. It's one hell of a Halloween story. It really captures the essence of the chaos and anarchy that happened on Halloween, dude. I fucking love it. Alright, the story is about Carly Beth, and I feel so bad for her because she's getting bullied by these two dudes, Chuck and Steve, and they're bullying her so bad. They put a banana peel under her foot at lunch. She slips, and her lunch goes flying all over the floor. Everybody at lunch busts out laughing. She cries. They put a spider in her hair. She freaks out. Fucking freaks out. Her and her friend Sabrina go to a pumpkin patch. They're hiding under the dirt. She goes to grab a pumpkin hand, comes out, grabs her hand. She starts freaking out. These guys are horrible, dude. And like one day, the worst thing they do is they put worms in her fucking sandwich, and she takes a bite out of this fucking sandwich in front of everybody. And they're just like, ugh. And after that, she just like loses her shit. She has a nervous breakdown. She starts smoking cigarettes and shit. She starts talking back to her mom. And then like one day she comes home from school, and like her mom makes this cool bust of her, like a plaster thing of her, and it's kind of weird, but she's like, ugh, thanks mom. And her mom's like, I made you a cool costume too. And she goes upstairs, and it is a damn duck costume, like she's 10 years old, and like that's it. Like she snaps like Selena Kyle in Batman Returns, dude. She tears her room apart, tears the costume apart, and she's like, I'm gonna be scary this Halloween, and I'm gonna get my revenge. So she gets all the money that she's ever saved up in her life, which is $39.99, and she goes to this creepy mask salesman's mask shop, and like they're like, all right, masks. She's like looking around like they're okay, but then she sees these masks in the back, and they're like these scariest masks she's ever seen in her entire life. And the dude's like, these masks aren't for sale, you can't have them. And she's like, come on. He's like, nah. So she just like grabs the mask, runs out with it, throws the cash in the dude's face, and it's like escapes the mask. She like steals the freaking mask, and she's really happy about it. She's like, gonna get my revenge. At this point, Carly Beth is like obsessed with like just getting these two dudes. She has pictures of them all over her room. She has darts that she throws at the pictures. Her mom comes in the room like, who are these boys? And she's like, ugh. So Halloween comes around, she puts the mask on, and she just like sees herself in the mirror, and she is so scary. Her brother comes up behind her like, Carly Beth. She turns around, backslaps her brother. He falls on the floor just like, oh my god. And she's like, whoa. And like she describes the story as like the fear in her brother's eyes. She just like never feels that power before in her entire life, and she is into it, dude. That Halloween, she's running around raising hell, dude, like stealing kids' candies, like throwing rocks through windows, spray painting cars. She TPs and eggs her best friend's house, and then runs off when she comes to check that shit out. It is crazy. The night culminates when she finally runs up to Chuck and Steve and shit, and she fucking like scares them so bad. She pulls out a switchblade. She stabs both of those motherfuckers. They are dead. She hides them in the fucking like under the leaves, buries them under leaves in the damn cemetery, and just like freaks out. She's like covered in blood, and she's like, argh. So she's like, oh shit, I gotta get home. Gotta get this mask off. She goes home and shit. She's like in the mirror. She can't get the fucking mask off. She's like, oh shit. She's like trying to get the mask off. She can't get that shit off. She's got her switchblade. She's sitting there like with the knife, like, should I do it? Should I do it? She's like, no. I'll just go back to the mask salesman and see what's up. She goes back to this mask salesman, and the dude's like, I told you not to take the masks. And she's like, how do I get this mask off? And he's like, they're not even masks. Those are demonic faces of demons that I've killed, and I just keep them around on display because I think they look cool. And Carly Beth's like, what? She starts freaking the fuck out, starts trashing the guy's fucking shop, just starts just smashing everything, just smashing the fuck out of everything. And the guy's like, Carly Beth, stop. Out of nowhere, she slits the dude's throat, blood everywhere, and out of nowhere, the masks come to life and start flying around the fucking room. And Carly Beth's like, oh shit. And she runs out, the masks chase her outside, and there's this big ass Halloween parade. Everybody's wearing masks. She's like in the crowd ducking and shit, looking behind her. There's cops everywhere for some reason. It's like a crazy ass Halloween. Like shit's torn apart. The city is like on fire. There's trash everywhere, broken bottles and shit. And Carly Beth is freaking out. She cannot get the shit off. Her mind is racing. She finally gets fucking home. She goes in the house, and the fucking masks are on her parents and her little brother's faces, yo. They can't get them off. Nobody can get them shits off. It is a freaking family of monsters. And it ends right there. There's a part 2, but I don't really know what happens in it. I'll have to check it out.